Welcome to Hello Bergen. I'm Cassidy Kramer, and today we're sitting with former State Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli, who's running against Governor Murphy in this November's gubernatorial election. Thank you so much for coming in with us today. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Jack Ciattarelli, I'm a lifelong New Jerseyan, and I am the candidate for governor for the Republican Party, as you said, and I'm looking very much forward to the race. There's only 2 governor races in the entire country this year, New Jersey and Virginia, so I'm excited for the people of New Jersey and look forward to a spirited campaign over the last few weeks.
Great, and we're so happy to have you here today. I understand that you're very proud of your background, you're a family man. Could you tell us a little bit about that family?
Well, it's a great American story. My grandparents came to America, New Jersey, about 100 years ago. They settled in Raritan, New Jersey, which is in Somerset County, raised their family there. My grandfather had his own business. My parents raised their 4 children here, me being one, obviously. And they owned their own business. They were in the restaurant bar business. And Melinda and I are married 27 years. We've raised our 4 children here. We spend our summers down the Jersey Shore and very much love New Jersey. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running for governor.
If any voter goes to your website, they can see that you've got extensive plans for New Jersey. Could you tell us about what's first up on the roster?
Property taxes. The number one issue in New Jersey is property taxes. It's the one tax that touches every individual, whether they own a home or rent. It touches every business, whether they own a home or rent. It's one of the reasons why New Jersey is unaffordable for a great many people. We need to lower property taxes, and we can do that with a new school funding formula, and that'll be reflected in my very, very first budget. The other thing we need to do in New Jersey is create more jobs, and we do that by making New Jersey a much more dynamic place to do business. And as an MBA CPA, I know exactly how to fix our tax code to make New Jersey a much more compelling place to do business, so again, we can create more jobs.
One part of your plan is reforming gun laws for law-abiding citizens. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So New Jersey has some of the most restrictive gun laws in the nation, and we certainly want to keep our community safe. At the same time, the Second Amendment is not going anywhere. People do have a right to bear arms and defend themselves. So as someone whose job it is to promote, preserve, and protect public health and safety, my job is to strike the right balance between Second Amendment rights and our gun laws, and as governor, I will.
How do you plan on dealing with those who, let's say, don't abide by those laws?
Well, we need to observe the rule of law, and anyone that breaks the law should serve with punishment, particularly for those that bring illegal firearms into New Jersey and then commit a crime with those illegal firearms. Those are people that, again, will be punished to the full extent of the law. Under Governor Ciattarelli, we will be a safe state, and we will observe the rule of law.
And I know that you have a policy about carrying. Could you tell us a little bit about that within the professions?
It is very, very difficult to get a carry and conceal license in New Jersey. One thing that I have offered throughout the course of the campaign is let's have a discussion with regard to dangerous professions. Should dangerous professions be allowed to arm themselves? If you speak to someone who, for example, is responsible for replenishing the ATM machines because they're carrying a lot of cash around with them, are they people that should be allowed to carry a firearm to protect themselves? So I do think it's a worthy discussion to have in New Jersey whether or not dangerous professions should be allowed to carry and conceal.
I'm glad that you've had a lot of thought that went into that and bringing it into further discussion in the future, hopefully.
Well, again, the goal is to keep the community safe, but the goal is also to keep individuals safe. Law-abiding citizens who need to protect themselves, they're engaged in very dangerous professions.
Another one of your big projects as governor is healthcare reformation. Could you tell us a little bit about that baseball-style arbitration that you've spoke about on your website?
We want to make sure that everybody in New Jersey has access to high-quality health care. We need to do that in a number of different ways. I would like to see more competition amongst health insurance companies in New Jersey. I think that would be good in terms of bringing prices down. I would like to see greater transparency. I think a lot of times, even when people buy health insurance, they don't know exactly what it is they're getting. And I think with the growth of the healthcare systems, independent physician groups are something that we still want to see coexist in our communities. And sometimes when they are negotiating with healthcare systems, it's not really a very fair negotiation. So baseball-style arbitration would bring equity to the negotiation process between health systems, health insurance companies, and independent physician groups. And that's better for people in the community who need access to high-quality health care.
good for the community and for the physicians who are having to deal with that on a regular basis.
It's not the easiest of topics. It's a very policy-heavy topic. But again, it's all about providing quality health care to our citizens, making sure they have access to quality health care. And as governor, I'll ensure that.
And while we're on the topic of health care, let's talk about abortion very quickly, very briefly, and more so about the process of prevention that you've spoke about on your website. So I know that it's your intention to prohibit termination after 20 weeks, but also to provide kind of a space for learning on anyone who is interested in learning how to prevent it in the first place and giving them that space. How do you plan on going about that?
You're touching upon a few subjects that I think are the responsibility of parents. These are topics that should be discussed at home with our children. I know Melinda and I, again, who are married 27 years, we took on the responsibility of having these discussions with our children as they went through adolescence and through their teenage years. One thing I will never support is a bill that Governor Murphy has advocated for, which allows abortion in months 7, 8, and 9. And worse yet, in my opinion, as performed by somebody other than an MD. In my mind, that puts the woman's health at risk. I also believe in parental notification. If someone who's a minor has unfortunately been impregnated, I think that's a discussion that minors should have to be forced to have with their parents before they decide what course they're going to take.
A lot of red tape surrounding it, but it sounds like you've got plans going forward to deal with that and hopefully help them in the process of figuring things out.
I think my position is where New Jersey is on this subject area. No one likes to see abortions, but particularly abortions in months 7, 8, and 9, as performed by somebody other than an MD. That's not where New Jersey is, and again, I do believe in things like parental notification.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything else you have to add today that you'd like to tell our viewers?
Well, I do know a great many people are always struggling with how New Jersey is taxing you every time you turn around. Under Governor Murphy, we've seen an increase in personal taxes, we've seen an increase in business taxes, increase in property taxes. On top of significant gas tax increases, we've seen an increase in tolls. The governor's budget is up $11 billion in less than 4 years' time. That's more than 30%. And I don't think anybody can really say they're better off than they were 4 years ago. So we need somebody who's going to be fiscally responsible with our tax policy here in New Jersey, control spending. Most importantly, however, lower property taxes and create more jobs by fixing our tax code. I'm a small business owner. My parents were in the restaurant bar business. My sister owns her own business. My brother owns his own business. We know what small business is all about. Small business is the backbone of the New Jersey economy. So I want to be known as a champion for the business community and particularly small business.
That's great. It sounds like you're very passionate about the topic.
I am.
Okay, well, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Cassidy, thank you.